Hi everyone, welcome again. We have today a second episode of the podcast of the Key Talks. This is exceptional for today, so the rest of the days will only have two sessions, one the buzz and one Key Talk. But today I had the opportunity to talk with the Young Leadership Award winner, Celine Vanikotu. She's an associate professor at Laval University, and she had half an hour to talk with us. So I hope that you enjoy the conversation and that you take also some learnings. Hi, welcome to the stage.
Thank you.
We've been trying to find a time to talk. It's been...
It worked out, finally, after all.
You're joining just for like 2 days.
Yeah, because I just had a little baby. I'm actually on maternity leave at the moment, so I have my 3-month-old baby here with me. So
it's a boy? It's a girl?
It's a boy. It's a boy. A little boy.
Yeah. Does he have a name already?
Massimo.
Massimo.
Yeah.
Oh, so you know that here in Denmark sometimes it takes some time to give the name.
Oh,
the kid.
okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, for me it was really weird. So sometimes they just call him Junior.
Oh my God, no,
Yeah,
I didn't
isn't
know
it
that.
right, Morten? Yes, it is. Sometimes that happens. It's really strange for me. Like, oh, they have to have a sensor, and I'm like, oh wow, no, that's the first discussion. Before we had the kids, we already know the names.
Like 3 months when I was pregnant or something.
Exactly, right? But how has it been? Everything went good.
Everything went great. Good. Everything went great. Yeah, the baby doesn't cry that much, so it's okay.
How was it to travel? Where are you coming from?
I'm coming from Canada now.
Okay, and how was it?
The travel was actually good because we traveled by night, so he was actually sleeping all the way through. But really? I'm not sure if it's going to be the same if we go
worried?
back.
Were you worried?
Well, I'm not the kind of stressy person, so I thought like let's just do it and go on the adventure.
But I received an email that you were going to win this award last week. No one in my team knew about you until recently. We were asked to keep the news closed. How was it to receive a call and to say you have been recognized with this award?
Yeah, it was very surprising.
Right.
Actually, when they called me, and it was very close to the conference actually.
Really?
So I think I was holding the baby. I was just sitting at home like, and then I got a call and no, I got an email actually to organize a call because they knew the results of the award.
Right. So you knew you were nominated.
I knew I was nominated. Yeah, and the procedure is like,
yes.
and so yeah. Then it was like, what's it gonna be? Like it's gonna be either it's to say like I didn't receive it, or I just to say I received it. But no, I was very surprised, very honored because it's I think it's a very prestigious award.
Yes.
And there's so many great people out there, young water professionals that are doing amazing things. So it was really. Yeah,
I think
really honored.
in the committee, I recognized 2 faces, so Rihanna and Jacob, the ones that were deciding who would win, and we had Jacob in the bus session today, and Rihanna, I met her in one of I think it was in Brisbane or in Lisbon that I met her for the first time. She also won this award, and Jacob and Menger also. And I just find these people that are walking the world and they are doing such nice things, and I feel it's so inspiring for the rest of the community. You know, not only for the older generation, but for us to know that our generation also has some examples for us to follow and some people being leaders in their own area. So can you explain a little bit about why did you think you won this?
Well, that's a good question.
No. Right?
No, well, I have been pretty busy and active like the last, let's say, 10 years or more, or even more already. I'm currently a professor at Laval University, but I also manage the Canada Research Chair in Resource Recovery and Bioproducts Engineering.
How old are you?
I'm 34.
You're 34.
Yeah,
wow.
At the moment.
Impressive.
Yeah, thank you. Well, so the Canada Research Chair is like for emerging leaders, at an international scale. But what we basically do, so I'm running now a research team of about 18 people, so PhD and master students. So I think that I'm professor since 2016, so at quite a rapid pace I built up a huge research team. So I think that is one of them. But it's not only, I mean, it's not only that it's huge, it's also like the outputs. So we work a lot on technology development for research discovery.
What exactly is it that
Yeah, so technology, but also modeling tools. So we have a lot of, basically we mainly work with industry and municipalities. So so I managed to get funding from industry, municipalities to work on really issues at the moment. So it's very applied research. So for example, we work with Quebec City on the anaerobic digestion project because they want to install an anaerobic digestion site for to treat their sewage sludge together with their food waste. So we work with them to optimize the site and things like that. So we have these small-scale digesters in our lab, and that's the first lab in Quebec that really works on digestion.
Wow.
And on sludge management, actually. And so we do all kind of experimental work that can then immediately be applied at full scale, actually.
And how is it working with this collaboration? Because you're talking about transboundary research, right? You go to other countries and you try. How is it going? How is the collaboration going?
Well, we'd like to really involve the partners, like industry, municipalities, in our work. So we have a lot of
from the beginning,
meetings.
Or so it
From
is
the beginning,
iterative.
yeah. So we kind of develop a project together, and then it's really based on the needs from industry. So the needs, the urgent needs they have, and they're looking for a research partner. Then that's where like we kind of come in. So yeah. Another example could be like if there's so for example, we work with a paper industry in Quebec that has waste flow, so water flow, basically liquid waste flow, that needs to be, that they want to valorize actually, or it needs to be treated, and then we look like for solutions. What can we do with this? Because currently they pay a lot of money to dispose of, but it's and it's polluting the environment. So we'll try. So the important thing for me, I think, and for my research team, is really that we can do something practical. That we see results like hopefully quickly, but that it's really applied. That is important.
And how is it to go from a research perspective to the business environment, right? Is there an adjustment that you need to do? Because maybe you would, I really want to understand more of this. Let me just go more time on this area. How is the compromise? How is that dance?
Yeah, well, I mean, we have to understand each other's language. That's important. It's like I work also a lot with do interdisciplinary research with other departments, and that's the same. You need to understand each other's language because, like for example, with industry they have a different time scale. Like for us, a fast solution for master and PhD students.
Yes, I mean, right. It's very different.
It's different than in industry. So you have to be clear from the start. Like this is our timeline. Our students need to take courses as well and things like that. So we're going to do it at this pace, and so that's. You need to talk the same language. But I have always been very interested, and so my PhD was also very applied. I was together with an industrial partner, Primodal Inc. And Ms. Evangeline Bedia is also very well known in the IWA community. So it was also applied, and so that's because I was always doubting. When I was younger, I mean, I didn't say, like, you have a lot of people that say, like, I want to become a professor or I want to do research my whole life. And I wasn't like that. I was like, I'm open to industry. And now it's really an ideal mix of both, basically. So
but we navigate through this mix. I think all the talks that we had with Professor Damir also on the previous session has been on that, on the magic that happens in between nexus, right? Where we are in the nexus area, right? Either is connecting water with health, which was the case on the previous talk, and here is when we connect the research with the practical world or the business area, and how we can collaborate also with different departments. Do you see any role on youth there? Because I have from my experience, what I realize is that a lot of the technology or the research that I've been doing with other companies has been driven by the youth. And it's because when we meet, we just want to solve it. Our agenda is like, we need to solve this issue. So for example, we need to remove pesticides from this water. What can we do? And then everything becomes very easy. We just have to do this. I have this product, I can do this and I can do that. And if we go above then things start to be a little bit more complicated. Have you felt the same? Was that the experience that you had?
You mean above, if you go...
Yeah, higher in generation, in the
Okay.
structure. That somehow I feel like the agendas are slightly more, like they have a more specific agenda somehow. And they think twice before doing some investment, and more conservative, a little bit more risk averse, you know.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I understand what you mean. Yeah, well, probably we're a generation that can.
So when you meet with the other partners, it's more the younger generation that you
it's
deal
both.
with, or it's both?
Depends. It depends. But I know what you mean, and I feel the same. But oftentimes the younger generation, even if you work in a company, with somebody that is younger in a company, oftentimes there's somebody higher up, and that is, I think, something that is kind of starting to change, and probably it needs to change a little bit more to have like more younger people also at like higher positions, because the decision making is indeed different, as you say. I think it's maybe the younger generation is like a little bit more we have to solve this now, because, like, for example, climate change, it's acting.
Now.
We saw a great keynote speaker
yesterday.
It's not
a discussion point.
It's another discussion point. But I mean, like, we have to act now. It's not like in 10 years.
Exactly.
And things are changing very quickly. Like, for example, if you develop a solution, let's say, for example, anaerobic digestion. In some places, like, it takes like to approve it, to install the whole process can take 10 years. But by 10 years later, the technology, like, it changes. It develops so quickly now because the need is there. So it's
So it's this push and pull kind of dynamic, of course. But I completely agree. We've been talking a little bit about that. At what age will we get to positions that we have decision-making powers? And I've heard, I will not say from who, but there was another young world professional that was sharing with me that the seniors in his company, actually they were born in another year, but because they were reaching retirement age, but because they want to continue working, then they just changed the registration. Because at the time they were born, there was no registration. Right in place, so they can just change it, and so they continue on those spaces, and the younger generation cannot come through the hierarchy of the organization. So that's quite an obstacle and quite a challenge.
Yeah, that's quite a challenge.
And then when you are there, and you see that maybe in other countries things are different, there's less obstacles towards entrepreneurship. It can really create this attitude of frustration and mistrust. And I feel like with young world professionals across the globe, the idea is that we can make sure that we validate their experience and that we recognize. And every time that we go to do work abroad, like you're doing now, that we take the opportunity to validate the younger generation on the other side. That's usually my my call for action to leaders is say, when you do international work, make sure that you integrate and you just validate the younger generation that is present in the room from the other side.
Yeah, I think that is a very good point, because it actually makes me think about your first question, I think, like why I think I received this award, for example. Because, like, as a professor, you're kind of autonomous, so I can do what I want and at the pace that I want. So I apply for grants, and my ideas, or my ideas of the research team and so on, our ideas, so you can go at the pace that we want. We don't have to ask approval to somebody. And then I think you can achieve, like, in a shorter time, much more, I guess.
Wow.
But it kind of makes me think, I'm thinking about that now. I didn't think about this before, but it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, but I think that's why the World Water Congress is important, because we just meet so many mixed realities, right? And we understand what is our reality and what can be our role in the reality of others, right? Yesterday night I was talking, and this one I can say because I asked for permission. I talked with Pavel Cervantes. He's from Mexico. He's also a professor at the university, and he, at the age of 27, he won an award about a technology that he developed during his research. And the award was given by the government of Mexico. But because he was 25, he didn't receive the money, because they didn't trust that he would be old enough
Oh
to
my
know.
God.
Yes.
Oh,
So
that's ridiculous.
yes, but you know what do you do when you are discredited like that? So my research is good enough for me to be recognized with the award, but it's not good enough for me to understand what to do with the money.
Oh
Right.
my God.
So and this is a reality that we need to understand that it happens, you know. And I think that research can be a world where it's true that I feel like you are right that you gain decision-making position. You can actually reach it very far, very fast, compared to like private sector, to be honest. And maybe there's a lot we can do there, because my PhD experience, I did an industrial PhD, so it was together with the university and a water utility on drinking water treatment, so miles away. But the company was they had a waterworks that they wanted to renovate, so the project was very clear on what they wanted, the objectives. But when I went for the academia, what are the objectives? And it was number of publications, right?
Yeah,
And
that's another thing.
That's another thing, right? But why don't we define the objectives to be impact on a specific field? Right? Impact on the quality of water of a specific area, impact on the amount of people that become aware of this technology, right?
Yeah, I think it's a very good point, because at the moment it's well, in industry it's oftentimes making money.
Yes.
And in academia it's oftentimes indeed a number of publications, the outputs there. But no, I totally agree with you. I think it should be more, people should think, and that is how the spirit of our research team as well, that we want to, you know, provide solutions for the problems that we have today. Because like my little kid I was talking about just before, I want him to have a great future later on, and we see that it's not going very well at the moment.
No,
So,
it can be challenging.
it can be challenging.
We were thinking, today we had a workshop about young entrepreneurs, and we're talking about financing. And we came to the conclusion that financing is not a problem. Actually, we have money available. But the problem is the people who are deciding how to attribute the finance, they don't look at the person, they look at the CV. Right. So if you have this amount of publications and this, then that's what they are putting the money in. Right. And I think with you actually it was very different, because I don't believe, even though you are an amazing researcher, and I know that I checked as a PhD myself that you have several citations and you're very well recognized. The reality is that you also are much more than that. Right, and I believe, in my side, from my side, I believe that that's what actually led you to get the award, because all the young water professionals that won this award, that I got to talk with, they were the person, they were not the CV, right? So I want to know a little bit more outside of the research. Who is Céline? Is that okay to ask? Would that be okay?
Well. Well, I think I'm a lively person.
Yeah, you are.
Smiling often, they say. I'm just saying what the people say. No, but indeed, in industry, when I work with industry, that's often what they say. Like, even though I'm young, they prefer to work with somebody that is like loyal and that they can talk to easily. I think, and not like So I think that's important. You know, it's not only what's on the paper in the CV, but it's like the emotional intelligence and things like that.
Yes.
I think that's more and more important, and I think
also to go through a PhD.
You
need emotional intelligence.
But to lead the research team as well, because every individual is different, and you need to, work with different characters, and I think that is a very important skill if you want to go to a higher position. But then, what was the question again? Who is Céline?
Who is Céline?
Céline.
Lively, you said.
Well, I think lively. I love. I love to talk. I love to communicate, and I think that is one of the reasons why. It was also mentioned like a motivator. So I do a lot of talking, and I mean it's volunteering as well, like going to conferences, give talks, organizing things, events, mainly to raise awareness. So
what is your main, like, if you wanted to say I want to raise awareness on something, what would it be?
On water problems, climate change. Basically, when I was younger, I'm still young, but one of the first things I did, for example, is I created a non-profit organization with my husband, actually, which is the World Association of Consciousness, Education and Ultimate Progress. So after my PhD, we went traveling for 6 months through Canada and the USA to give conferences, and so totally free, like everywhere. We ended up we went from city to city to go and ask, like, can we give a conference here? And it's really on climate change, kind of inspiring people to do.
Which
I'm not
year
saying
was
that they do bad, but to do better than.
When was that in time?
That was in 2015. Like, so I finished my PhD in May 2015. It was right after. And then when I got back, I became a professor, basically. So it was like in between. It took like 6 months to travel, to talk, to inspire people. And I think this is an important part now, and probably of this award too. That yes, we do our research, we develop things, but I think it's also important to communicate about it and to raise awareness that we have to. There are things that we need to change and that we have an impact on.
I don't know if you heard about the Next Generation Art Action Program, but but I'll talk to you about it. But next time last time I was with them, my talk was also on communicating water, and what I believe is that communicating water to raise awareness is a game changer for innovation, because you create. First, by raising awareness, you will somehow ensure political continuity, hopefully. And then second, you make water visible, and you make climate visible. And people will approach it in their daily life. And so they will want to have the solutions at reach. And they will themselves come up with innovation. It's not that we will come up with innovation, but the people that were aware now will come up with innovation and entrepreneurship. But the Next Generation Art Action is a group of master's students or entrepreneurs from 5 different countries, together with younger professionals chapters, local chapters, and challenges that were drawn by different private companies, had to come up with solutions to a real problem on their area, and a product and a business. And then they went for competitions like national-wise, and then now some of them are here. Those are the winners of each of the challenges that were thrown to them. And we had on the bus one of the girls talking today, and yesterday one of the girls from a product they are developing she's developing a product in India for harvesting rainwater for production of water for like agriculture purposes. And so I work in drinking water, and I was next to a tube of sand, explaining how we treat water in Denmark. And the girl approached me, "Can you explain me how you select the sand?" And I'm talking to her, and she's like, no, but the different grain sizes, and you have many materials here, how do you know? And I'm talking, and then she said, yeah, but we actually have this design, and she shows me like a prototype. Yeah, this is our 5th prototype. And I'm like, who is who? We who? And she's like, oh no, this is my teacher. No, my team. We are students. And I'm asking, but where's your teacher? No, I used to be a student. Now I'm doing this. I'm an entrepreneur. And I'm like, oh, very well. She's like, yeah, this is my 5th prototype. I sold 4 already. And I'm like, oh, where's your team? Oh, they're over there. All of them come around. And it's all this bunch of interesting technical questions about, oh, and how do we measure this and the flow? And they are there solving a problem that they can see, that now they can put their brains and hands on and solve it. And it's just so incredible to see that starting to happen. I'm still a little bit afraid about the obstacles that each region presents to their own entrepreneurs, but I have a feeling that when we become aware of the different regions and what everyone is doing, like what you are doing, not only on the volunteer but also on research projects that you're doing abroad, that we bring these realities closer and we can empower them somehow. I'm just so happy to see the next generation. I'm really impressed.
Yeah, there's more and more entrepreneurs.
Yes, in the water sector. And I think it's going to be a close family, because I feel like we all have a connection with each other, right?
Yeah. That's also why we are here, like to meet them and to meet all kind of people, basically.
Yes, because I feel like our agenda is just common. We know we know why we're doing it. So that we don't spend much time on that part. We just go for it. So now what?
Yeah, it has to be done.
So now
That's
what?
the thing. Somebody needs to do it. So
Yes.
let's go, and let's go together. Like
Yes.
yeah.
So what is the future looking like? What are you looking after?
In terms of research, or
Yes, your life. I mean, of course, now you have a baby.
my life,
Yes.
my life is kind of changing, but
Yes.
no. Well, we'll keep on going like we were doing. So we're involved in some great large projects now, like also on emerging contaminants, which is also very important. So we have a great project that was approved, for which we are building actually a demonstration plant with a Canadian company, Energia, where we built the pyrobiomethane plant. It's like anaerobic digestion combined with pyrolysis for treatment of sewage sludge. So to also remove the micropollutants, emerging contaminants. So I think that's an issue that is gaining more attention, and it needs to gain more attention, so because we are able to recover products and things like that. But if we bring them to the land and just
we're moving the problem,
to somewhere else, then it's not.
So what are the possibilities there?
So yeah, we have some interesting results that will be published very soon.
Oh, sorry.
Follow. There are solutions, right? And that is also why we're building this demonstration plant, and we have results that can show that that we can that the products are
they're working.
They're working. They're very valuable, and that is actually those results we mainly need for the end users to use these products, because they don't, like for example, farmers, if they're going to take a fertilizer that comes from sewage sludge or from food waste, they want to know that it works at the same efficiency, but also that it's not going to pollute their fields and things like that. So. So yeah, that's basically what we're.
So we're doing groundwater protection as well.
I think that's important, and also like alternatives, like for example, if you produce also from sludge, or if you produce a digestate or a biochar, you can apply them to the field. But there's also other applications. So you were talking about pesticides before. For example, biochar could absorb pesticides. Could be used in water treatment as a filtration system as well. So there's different pathways that we can go, and that is why I think here at the World Water Congress it's really great to be, because I go to drinking water sessions as well, just to see like, okay, how what are the needs here.
And it's too bad I have a presentation on Wednesday with for pesticides removal. But I'll talk to you about it after we end here. I was wondering, so you are here in Europe, especially in Northern Europe, we're talking a lot about the water energy nexus. I believe that Southern Europe should be more worried about the water, food, even health nexus. What are the current issues in Canada? What is the water looking like?
Well, in Canada, I think, and that is why I do a lot of outreach, because people are not
aware.
They are kind of spoiled in water. I come from Belgium, which is a country that now we pay. We count the minutes that we are in the shower, because it's very expensive, and it's getting more and more expensive. But in Canada, the water is free. So water is free everywhere, and still people, for example, even though the tap water is potable, they would buy water even. So so it's bottled water. I mean, so yeah, there's in terms of water, there's still a lot that can be improved. At the same time, they're spoiled in water, and so I'm thinking about the French word, but potable water, surface water. But at the same time, there are still kind of a lot of municipalities that are that don't have a treatment system. So we do have for example, in northern Canada, we have a project in the north where the water is still transported by trucks, for example, and there's no wastewater treatment as well. They pick up the wastewater with a truck, and they throw it in a lagoon, and then but the lagoon, it's just there, and after a certain time it's getting emptied, and that water goes into the lake, but they get their drinking water from the lake. So it's like so there's issues in some regions, in decentralized regions and so on, because Canada is a big country, and there's a lot of there's a lot of decentralized communities as well. So so this is also more and more a focus actually at the moment in our team, and it's where we're going in the future.
Yes,
as you said.
yes,
So
no,
we're
for
kind
me,
of developing autonomous systems that can be applied in these
Regions that are
decentralized
more-
regions,
yes.
but also in developing countries, for
yes.
example.
Yeah, for me, decentralization of drinking water treatment is the way to go. But that's from the experience that I've been hearing around from what could work around the globe. We are about to end. Do you have any advice for young researchers that could maybe help them in the pathway of starting a PhD, maybe?
Oh, I think that yeah, anyone who starts a PhD, they should not doubt about their capacities. So that you have to keep on going, and it's an amazing experience. But most of all, I think we need to have fun in what we do. I always had fun in what I did,
Yes.
and yeah, I think also maybe an important. Point is that everybody, when we're working hard, and sometimes we also have like I mean, we have ups and downs, right? But after every down comes an up. So during a PhD, there's a thing. So and yeah, just keep on going, and because we need every little bit can help, and so we need young water professionals to work on the future.
Perfect.
So that is, I think, yeah, what I could
Yes. Thank you so much, Celine. It's so nice to have you here. We are going to end now. I will ask you to say goodbye to the camera so we can close it. Bye. See you tomorrow at 1:30. Bye.
Bye.
How great.